Welcome to Will Talks. I'm so happy today that we have this amazing person with us today. His name is Avinash Rao. You should look him up on LinkedIn. Avinash Rao has a lot of experience in telecom, in real estate. Yeah, that big word. He's been doing tremendous amount of work in the real estate sales space with large organizations and development companies across India. So, Avinash Rao, thank you so much for being with us today, and we are going to pick your brain to learn, whatever we can, all the insights, all the wisdom that you have, picked up along the many years that you've worked in these key industries. Avinash, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Where have you come from? Who are you?
Okay. Hey, thanks for having me join this podcast of yours. It's really interesting and nice bunch of people you got here. Uh, how do you introduce yourself, right? That's a tough question, but let's just say a normal middle class individual started off in a small town, have studied in various parts of the country, went abroad for a bit, and yeah, if your work experience should define you, then it is tough. But nevertheless, given where we are today and the context of this podcast, I have 20 plus years of work ex, have worked in various large firms, started my career with Reliance, spent some time with Samsung, did a long stint with the Tata Group in the telecom space, then spent over a decade in two major real estate firms. One is Knight Frank and the other one is Purvankara, where in Purvankara I spent close to 8 years, did number of things in Purvankara, so got great exposure to real estate development, the revenue side of the business, the cost side of the business. So yeah, I've done whole lot of things in my career, but if I were to look back and say I'm a hardcore operations man, I have done a great deal of work in real operations, rolling up your sleeves, getting your hands dirty and getting things done. Because I remember I started off as somebody who was just another account manager, developed into the role of manager, then a leader. So it's been quite a journey. But if you were to ask me, who am I think just a normal small town individual with stars in his eyes when I came to Bangalore, and happy to see where I have come, from where I have come, and to where I have been. And this is a new phase of life. It's very, very interesting.
Amazing. So tell me about this small town. Which small town was this? I'm sure there'll be a lot of people there who'll get super excited.
Yeah, so I started off my life in Ballari, and that's where I'm from. I was born in Nagpur, stayed in Agra, studied a bit in Dubai, but I'm from Ballari. I studied, did my graduation there, did my MBA there, and then moved to Bangalore. When I first moved to Bangalore, I should tell you this, I started sales very long ago in my life. I sold my first computer when I was 14 years old. And
Wow.
I sold...
So you were in college when you were working, obviously.
At 14, you're not
14,
in
you're
college,
probably
Willie. You're much
just-
younger than that.
just in school.
I'm not a child prodigy. I would not have had to sell computers if I was a child prodigy. But yeah, at 14, I sold a computer that is PCL. You know, PCL, I don't know many of you and the audience that you have.
Computer Limited.
No.
Then?
It's Pertec Computers
Pertec.
Limited. Pertec Computers Limited. I don't know whether they have any interest with Patni, but yeah, Pertec Computers Limited, one of the few branded players at that time. This is the age where only assembled computers were being sold.
286 and 386 those days.
Yeah, Pentium was just about 486, and so that's where. And I've done all kinds of odd jobs. I sold an insurance policy worth 1 crore to a family once, and so
Wow.
yeah, if you were to look back, there are a number of occasions where I've been able to sell a concept or sell a product. Yeah, so that's how it started. But over the years, I've realized that at any given point in time, you're only selling. Everybody is selling. Whether you're a CFO, you're selling. Whether you're a product manager, you're selling. And if you're a teacher, you're selling. If you're
Yeah.
a student, you're selling. If you're not, then maybe you need to start doing it.
I mean, what you're saying completely makes sense, because I think the generation of today, children at 15, 16, 17, 18, the youth. They're probably waiting for that great dream job. They're probably waiting for that big idea to come to them. They're probably waiting for that, venture capitalist or angel investor to come say, "Hey, I believe in you," and things like that. They probably don't see that the greatness in the little things. They don't see the opportunities that really come up to them. When you tell me that at the age of 14, you when you're supposed to be playing gully cricket outside, you decided to pack your bags and wear a tie and look older than you are and meet people who are at least 10 years older than you and get money out of them,
Yeah,
dealing
so
with a tech that nobody understood at that time.
actually, let's look at it this way. I think it was an advantage. Who would say no to a 14-year-old going asking you for an appointment saying, I want to sell you a computer? He'll say, okay, at least, अरे 14 साल का बच्चा है, come and tell me what it is. So that is an advantage. That's how I looked at it. I didn't look at it as a disadvantage. So whereas I somehow agree with what you're saying, but more or less, I think the youth of this country is fantastic. They are doing some absolutely marvelous stuff. Many of us don't understand what they're doing because we can't relate to their mindset. We are a generation, many of us, I mean, you're younger, Willie, but maybe my generation is a bunch of people who have been brought up in a particular manner. I don't think so that should resonate with the youth today. The youth today is a far more sure-footed and a far more, for want of any other word, their priorities are much more clearer. They've been born in a generation which is not wanting more. They've got what they wanted. So this is a aspirational generation. When we were growing up as kids, our aspirations were limited by the opportunities. Today, these are not limited, and these kids are so smart. I'm quite amazed at what they can achieve in their lives. They should believe in you. If they do, I think they will come by and rally with you. If they don't believe in you, there's nothing you can do to get them to believe in you. So I think kids today are brighter, smarter, more sure-footed for sure, and most importantly, they have great clarity of thought. So I like that a lot in kids, and I quite believe that Indian kids, and even, I mean, the examples are there for all of us to see, right? How these kids have started their own startups, 25-year-olds becoming unicorns and doing stuff. I believe that India is a great opportunity, and that great opportunity is in the youth.
I mean, when I hear you, I just feel like what a great set of youth we have today. I mean, just the way you put it, no one's ever put that in that way, in that style, and that form to me, right? It's so easy for us to think, oh, they're lost. They don't have, let's say, for want of another word, what I mean is they don't have that character because they've not gone through that pain. And what I mean by that is, I remember my own parents when they had to come from Kerala, they had nothing. They had to buy like a 200 square feet house, and then, basic necessities seem to be the highest aspirations. Ghar hona chahiye, and we should be able to put food on the table and stuff. And those are the things that I have seen as I've grown up. All that that lack of basic necessities. But the way you put it now just kind of opens my mind up, because I'm like, wow. In fact, the youth of today, because they don't have to deal with those basic necessities, they have even more responsibility. Because what I mean by that is, I feel like they can really squander what their parents have done if they're not very careful. And that makes them quite careful. It makes them responsible. It makes them really need to be clear. And even if you look at the way they're consuming information, a lot of that is around what can they do, how can they amplify, how can they accelerate. And I really feel like you understand that, because you said no to your status quo of what the world at that time expected you to be as a 14-year-old. And you broke that mold. And today you're super successful in what you do. And you're an inspiration to many. So I really feel like what you're saying is right, and that has changed my perspective towards the youth. And I now know that you have tremendous amount of real estate experience. And why I'm jumping to that is because I feel like that is something that comes very late in life. What do you think is the average age, let's say, of, I don't know, you must have met like 10,000 people buying homes and, in the process of buying. What do you think is the average age of people who buy houses? Why do they buy houses at that age? What have you, like, because for me, I understand you said you're a salesperson, and a salesperson is an understanding, reflecting, considering human being. Like, what has been your insights and experiences dealing with people who are buying homes?
Okay. So when I say salesperson, I believe everybody is a salesperson. It's a misnomer that people say you're a salesperson. It's just easy to categorize. You're a finance person. You're a lawyer. It's no. I think end of the day, everybody is catering to a customer, and that customer comes first, and then everything else follows. So if you start working in that manner, then you're likely to be a salesperson all the time. So 3-4 things, right? Now, coming back to what you were saying earlier, I believe that there is a generation of people who are listening to their parents, and there is a generation of people whose parents were listening to them. So that generation is finished. That's gone. So many parents today, or many older people, believe that their kids should be in a particular mold. I think it's important that we just let them be and decide what they want to be, and let parental instincts not overrule logical, systematic growth. Where many a times parents think you should not be a DJ, you should not be an RJ, you should not be. I mean, I heard there's this young lady who was doing nails, and she says that by just doing nail painting, somebody gets about $150 an hour, and this nail painter has got more than 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Now, it's fantastic. Who would think so? Now, there is no one way of earning a great livelihood, no one way of being famous. Coming back to real estate, the question of real estate. There's been a lot of talk that, okay, millennials are buying, millennials are not buying, etc., etc. I think many of this is just flavor of the day, etc. It's not true. What happens is that people buy homes when they're ready. When they're ready financially, when they're ready emotionally, and when they're most importantly ready to settle in a city. Most people in India buy homes to live in them. There is a small percentage of people who buy homes more in cities like Bombay and maybe to some extent in Delhi to invest. So there is a dichotomy. It's a great asset class, it appreciates, etc. But many people don't buy it because it's going to make you a lot of money in the immediate future. For that, you go and buy a stock, or you go and trade a stock, whereas you don't do that in real estate. So the average age would be anywhere between 38 to 45. That is when people buy their first home. That is 60-70% of the population. There is a larger population which is greater than 45, and there is a smaller population which is lesser than 30. The age is coming down. Age brackets are coming down because obviously salaries are going up. People are becoming a little bit more wiser. Real estate is becoming more easily accessible in the sense there is no information arbitrage anymore. People know what they're buying into. There is more clarity. So those are some of the things, and that's why people do get into buying homes at an early age also. But still tough to say whether a 25-year-old will go and buy a home easily. I think it's there will be a percentage, but it will be a very small, minuscule percentage. Largely between, I would say 35 to 45 is where the market exists today.
So what I'm hearing is that since people are buying houses once they've decided where they're going to settle, and then they're going to live in those houses, they probably are not looking at that from a investment perspective, right? It's a utility. It's something that I want and I need.
Correct.
And hence they may not be, looking at it in another way.
Yeah.
Right.
So a 25-year-old will say, why can't I just buy space on Metaverse? Why don't I just buy a crypto? Or why don't I just buy Zomato as a stock? Or why don't I buy some other unicorn as a stock which has just got into its IPO? Why put the money in real estate? Because I don't even know whether I'm going to live in Pune today, I'm going to live in Bangalore tomorrow, I'm going to live in Delhi day after, or I might just go abroad. So real estate buying for the purpose of staying also is reflective in many ways of stabilizing in a city, of saying, okay, this is where I want to either live my life, or either I'm living it today and I'm happy, or more importantly, this is where I would like to come and stay after I'm done with my exploration phase. So that is where it is. So
clearly there is a little problem here, right? Because if I talk, when we talk to the youth, right, 21, 22, 23, 24, just about working, just about started their new jobs, getting good money, as you said, like jobs that were paying somebody at the age of 40, people are getting now at the age of 22, right? And of course, with the fact that jobs are moving here and there, is highly mobile, you could work from anywhere. I mean, when you think about all these factors, if there is uncertainty in the mind of the youth, okay, of a young professional today, then he's not going to buy the house, because he's going to buy the house when he wants to, when he knows that he's going to be more sure, which means because of this unknowingly counterintuitive problem is that he's not participating in that asset class. If you look at it from an asset class and an investment perspective, right? So I think that is something that I believe you're already working on. You're already working on with this idea that how can you take real estate ownership from from an average age of, let's say, 40 to probably bring it down to even, I don't know, what are you trying to do? You're trying to do some really amazing things in real estate.
True. So, how do you get people to invest in an asset class which is highly illiquid, right? That's the question. So when somebody wants to buy a home, let's look at the process. Now this 28-year-old is joined a fantastic startup, and
you'll have to explain what illiquid means, because I kind of feel like illiquid.
Yeah, we'll surely do that. Now this 28-year-old gets into a great job. Everybody's happy. He's happy, getting a million rupees in salary.
He's probably not married at that time. Probably.
Yeah, it's a matter of choice. I think people should decide whether they want to get married. Should not link it to buying real estate or not. But yeah, a million rupees and making a lot of money, and very happy, and has got a great lifestyle, great home to stay in, stays in the CBD, meaning stays closer to work, wherever he's working or she's working, rather than staying away where. So he or she can only afford a particular category of home. So if somebody earns a million rupees, that is 10 lakh rupees a year, and after tax gets about 8 lakh rupees. So he or she can only afford, say, a 60 lakh rupee home, 70 lakh rupee home. Now a 60 lakh, 70 lakh rupee home may have everything, may not have everything, may not be even possible to own a 60, 70 lakh decent home in, say, a city like Bombay. Now what do these people do is the question. How do they participate in real estate when they cannot buy a primary home given the current salaries that they have, or the bank loan that they will get, etc. So there are multiple challenges that exist in buying a home. So when he goes and looks at it, or she goes and looks at it, okay, there's a home. Now the guy says the home is not ready yet. It's going to take 1 year to get ready. The cost of the home is 70 lakhs. The EMI on this home is going to be 55 lakhs, 55,000 per month. Anyway, the upfront payment can be, most of them may have that kind of money, or most of them can just take it from their parents, or they've saved it, etc. But then they say 55,000 rupees I'm going to spend every month. And with that 55,000, I'm giving up so many experiences.
Yeah.
I'm giving up so much in my life. Why do I want to do that when I can get in a much better location, in a much better space, in a much better community, a rented home at 25,000 rupees. So it's okay. And
so suddenly that 25,000 looks a lot.
Yeah, imagine what more can you do with that 30,000 rupees, right? You can take that 30,000 rupees and go to Goa every month and have a great time. So why would you give up on those experiences of life? So I think it's very important that people understand that we were moving as a country from possession to experiences. People are not necessarily...
Possession to experiences.
Yeah, true. Because see, end of the day, we were at times thinking we should hoard more. Today, not just because of COVID, we believe that experiences are more important. You should live more rather than hoard more. So across the board, people keep telling me, oh, holidays have come back with a vengeance and stuff like that. It's not like that. It's not vengeance or anything of that sort. It's just that people who are thinking twice, saying that should I take a holiday now, or should I take 4 holidays in a month or in a year, or should I take 6 holidays in a year, are taking 6 holidays in a year, because they know that those experiences will last them a lifetime, rather than making an investment which could be very expensive, time consuming,
robs them out of their present.
Correct. A lot of hazards. Deal with somebody who's broking a transaction, deal with a developer, deal with the registration office.
That all sounds so old school in terms of,
so now these kids don't want that. They want it easy. So what we are trying to do at Alt is we are trying to democratize real estate. We are saying that, look, we will be,
Democratize real estate.
yeah. So when you ask me what is illiquid means, illiquid means you can go and buy something easily. After all these problems, also it's still easy to buy, but very difficult to sell. Tomorrow, I'm giving you a hypothetical example.
I
You're
used to
working-
always think when somebody buys, somebody is sold, and hence it is not difficult. But what you're saying
Yeah,
looks
but-
like it's easy to buy because we're buying from maybe a primary source, like
Correct.
a developer or something. And when we sell, we may not be selling like that. So buying and selling.
Yeah,
is
so
something-
there will always be when they say it's a buyer's market,
Huh.
and they say that, okay, it's not a seller's market. What does it mean? It means that there are more buyers in the market. There are less number of buyers, less number of buyers in the market and more number of sellers. So when you look at what it is, so I think
The
there
demand
are some
supply.
3-4 things, but let's try and cover all of them in sequentially. When they say there is, it's hard to sell. It's hard to sell because there are many people trying to sell. So who are you competing with? There is a new development which has come. There is an old development that is still selling. Then there are people who are selling in prime areas. People are selling for less. People are selling for lesser. And that's why it's easy to buy, difficult to sell, because the competition to sell is harder to overcome rather than buying, because buying you have a lot of choices. You can choose one against the other, get a better deal at any given point in time. But the seller does not have too many choices. So whoever comes, he wants to hold on to that, or she wants to hold on to that.
Gosh, you just made it so clear for me. It's the first time somebody really deconstructed it that,
Yeah,
what it means.
So we said we should solve this problem. How can you solve this problem? How can somebody invest in real estate because they like real estate? Everybody knows about real estate. If you ask, real estate is like cricket, right? Everybody has an opinion on real estate. Anybody you ask, they'll say, "Arey, idhar rate itna hai, udhar rate itna hai, aisa hai, waisa hai, ye developer acha hai, wo developer acha hai." But imagine what we are trying to do is we are trying to say that, look, buy real estate which is giving you yield, buy real estate which is easily tradable.
Yield.
Yeah. So yield is basically income that you can generate. So FD gives you interest,
Yeah.
right? Like that, if you have a rent generating asset. Let's take an example of a school. Okay, school is not for profit. That's true. But end of the day, a school earns fees for which it pays rent for the
Correct.
building.
Correct.
Now that building rent, imagine if people own that building. They may not own the school, but they own the building. That rent can be distributed to those people. How
Yeah.
cool it would be to say that, I have a Willy Broad school in my area and I own 5 square foot of that school. And every month I get X amount of rent from that school. Now, few years back, that's unthinkable. That's not even a part of your thought process. You would never imagine, can I own the school? It's a kaun kharidega, itna mehenga hai, itna land hai, ye hai, wo hai. But imagine you today can own 5 square foot of Willy Broad school,
That's
Willy Broad
amazing.
Academy, and suddenly you have access to a school income, and you're making revenues out of it for yourself. So
Like now,
what-
suddenly that 29-year-old doesn't have to wait till he's 60, made tons of money, and is probably a very, 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 very rich and wealthy person to say that, oh, I have investments in school and hospital and restaurant and hotel and warehouses. He can get all that at the age of 28, live his present life, have all these amazing experiences, and somehow by what you're saying, it appears that it's going to put money into his pocket on a day-to-day basis to actually live the present.
Correct. So, when I mentioned illiquid, you wanted to know what
Yes.
illiquid is. I think we covered the fact that it's hard to sell
And so
assets.
beautifully.
Yeah. So now what do we do? So we said that, okay, we should allow people to own real estate without the hassles of owning it. So there are 3-4 aspects. Today, when you go for advice on real estate, what do? You look at the local ecosystem that you have. Who are the people participating in this local ecosystem?
And by
There's
local, you mean like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kilometers?
No,
Is it
local
that
ecosystem,
local?
I mean your personal local ecosystem.
Okay.
Your personal ecosystem. So if you want to buy a home, what will you do? You'll go to this smart uncle that you have who's
Yeah.
made a lot of money in real estate, or a smart friend that you have who's made a lot of money in the real estate. You'll have a few broker friends, you'll go and talk to them. But you'll say, अरे वो broker का advice है. Then you'll say, मेरे uncle ने तब खरीदा था. Real estate suffers from one big problem. There is no great advice coming your way in which real estate to invest in. there is no managed real estate. There's no managed real estate portfolios like how there are
Mutual funds.
in financial markets. So, for example, if you wanted to invest in a PMS, if you wanted to invest in a mutual fund, you'll call this guy who has been your wealth manager and you'll trust his advice or her advice. And you'll not really question his or her advice because you believe that he or she is giving you good advice.
And he's trained and he's credible.
Correct.
And they have the decision support systems, right?
True. So that's exactly what we want to do. What we want to do is we want to make our advice credible, simple, and most importantly, we want people to invest in secure real estate. We don't want them to invest. We don't want them to be, wondering, where have I put my money? Why have I put my money here? Is my money working for me?
No buyer remorse.
Yeah. So, both, there can be both. There can be a lot of dissonance at both sides. When somebody sells, they feel that they've sold it for less. When somebody buys, they feel they bought it for more. We want to cut out all that noise. We want to say we are getting you great quality assets, best of the breed assets, rent yielding assets. Here is the information about this asset. Here is the location. This is how it's running. This is who's running it. This is the rent roll. This is how it's going to play out in the next few months and few years to come. Real estate's lifespan is 70 years. And we are saying, okay, for the next 30 years, this is how it's going to look. Now come and put your hard-earned money and buy 1 square foot of school, 2 square foot of a hotel, 10 square foot of maybe a managed rental housing apartment, anything. So fundamentally create a portfolio of real estate investments. And most importantly, it's not just about making a killing, right? If you are going to make a killing, you do multiple things. It's about making sustainable investments which will give you long-term returns. And that's why come and invest in real estate. So that's how we are seeing this.
This is amazing, Avinash. I mean, when I think about it, right, what you're saying is not even in the consideration set, right? When you look at your head, there are 3 things. There is I know what I know what I don't know, I don't know what I don't know. And that's that whole big blank void, right? And what you're saying today, to me, sounds like I don't know what I don't know. And when this becomes part of public knowledge, when this becomes an option, when this becomes accessible to the youth of the country today, suddenly, so many of their dreams they don't have to give up on. Suddenly, that waiting period, we are in an impatient economy, right? We're impatient. We want things now, right? And why not? Like, who's told us that you really have to wait for something? If there is creativity, innovation, technology, if there are people like you, and there are people like you, right? I'm talking to one of them. I mean, you're literally disrupting the real estate space. You're breaking those time sort of created principles, which are in a way, correct me if I'm wrong, but designed not for inclusion but for exclusion. Designed for exclusivity, where the rich and the powerful will get access to a higher quality asset versus commoners.
No. I don't ascribe. I don't ascribe to this.
How would you want to
this persecuted feeling that we keep having that real estate is only for the rich? It's not true. It's actually very untrue.
Let's uncover that.
It's factually incorrect. It's not that in India the common person does not have access to real estate. Mm-hmm. It is available. It's not just that in this great country of ours, 2.5 lakh homes are being bought every year just like that. People are making investments in REITs just like that. No. It's not that at all. It's not that real estate is available only to an elite group of people. Absolutely wrong. Maybe the elite group of people has greater access wherein they are able to profit better because they are making those decisions faster. Their risk ability allows them to make slightly more riskier investments and benefit out of that. But does not at any time mean that real estate investments are restricted only to the rich and famous. Real estate today has come a long way. There was a time when there was a lot of information arbitrage. There was a lot of things that happened which shouldn't have happened.
What do you mean by information arbitrage? Just to...
Tomorrow there
you have this amazing skill to simplify everything so wonderfully.
Yeah. So I think the way we see it is that there's a great amount of physical infrastructure being built in, say, North Bangalore. Mm-hmm. Many people would not have known of it. But today that information is available on Google, and it's available, is easily available, and it's available to everybody. So we are not in the age of information arbitrage. If anything, we are in the information, we are in an age of overloaded information. So we don't know the difference between what is data and what is information today, because we are flooded with so much of information. When you said we are trying to
you were saying that
use the word. What is the word you used? We are trying to disrupt the real estate space.
You're trying to disrupt and democratize.
What we are trying to do is we are simply trying to make it more accessible. By making it more accessible, by making it simpler, we are trying to say that the market is very big. Now it's expanding. Expanded to an extent that if you are allowed to get a driving license and if you have a PAN card, you should be able to invest in real estate. As simple as that.
Wow.
So that's what we are trying to say. Why should you wait maybe 10, 15 years after you start working to invest in real estate? Why should you become wiser by taking the wrong decision? Many people tell you, only by buying the second home I know how it is. Don't need to do that. Today, if you come onto our platform that is Alt and Alt DRX, you will get whole lot of information. You'll get whole lot of ideas as to what asset classes you can invest in, how you can make those investments safe, and most importantly, how you can trade. So fundamentally, what we're trying to say is that it is not as complicated as it sounds. It's not as difficult as it sounds. And most importantly, if you get the right advice at the right time, you can make fantastic investments wherein it is possible that if you start investing at 22, 23, at 35, you might be buying this fantastic home which you may not have thought of, and you would not have to even borrow a single penny from anyone. You would be able to fund this entire investment through real estate. Lot of people have made a lot of money in real estate. Lots of wealth has been created in real estate. Look at all the major investors, all the major corporates, all the major promoters, big time, head honkos of major organizations, all of them go and put their money in real estate. There is a reason for that. A reason is that there's only so much real estate that is available. Okay. And the other big reason is that there is no investment, maybe other than gold, which is as secure as real estate. Hence, people go and put all their money in real estate over a period of time. What we are trying to say is that, okay, you don't have to be very, very rich. You can be anyone. You can be earning 5 lakhs a year, and you can still put 5,000 a month in real estate and not feel bad about it. And if you've been able to put 60,000 of that 5 lakhs, which is 12% of your income in real estate, over a period of time, at say 6 to 8%, 8 to 12% kind of returns, you will earn enough and more money that either you can retire at 40 or you can buy your dream home at 35. You can do so much more with this kind of investment, and that will keep appreciating over a period of time. And when you actually go and sell the entire real estate, you are actually likely to make a killing. Now, don't hold me to that, but the fact is that if it's a good quality real estate, it will appreciate, and people will appreciate the fact and give the value for that it deserves.
You know, the image that comes to my mind when I hear you, this is the image, there's this young boy at 30 or maybe, 32. He's going to meet the future father-in-law, and the future father-in-law and mother sitting there on a sofa. and the mother is like, beta, ghar hai tumhare paas? And he's like, haan, and he pulls up his phone and he says, yahan pe hai, yahan pe hai, yahan pe hai, itna square feet yahan pe, aur घर नहीं पापा, hospital भी है,
Yeah.
Imagine that. And not just that, उसका किराया भी आ रहा है मुझे, उसका ये भी है मेरा, and you're going to give different answers to questions like आप कितना कमाते हो, क्या आप मेरे, these kind of questions. And he'll have amazing answers to give. He or she will have amazing answers to give, saying that, this is my earned income, this is my portfolio income, this is my this, और मैं fire हूँ, I am now financially independent and I've retired. It's amazing. You're crafting the story.
Yeah.
You're crafting the story.
Yeah.
Crafting.
But in the example you gave, a lot of women watching this would be very unhappy with this example, and they'll think, oh my God, how can Billy keep talking like
deep
these
apologies.
things? So yeah, I'm saying that imagine a conversation. You're right. Now let me just look at that conversation differently.
And let's make it more inclusive for women
let's,
as well.
no,
because
I'm just saying.
I have the greatest respect
There's
for
this couple who are on a date and they're saying, "आज तूने क्या खरीदा?" Oh, मैंने एक 10 square feet holiday inn का खरीदा
Wow.
in Ahmedabad, and they're all sitting in Surat.
Wow.
Now imagine that conversation. So I quite get the context of the conversation. I think very valid, but I'm saying it will be available on your phone, like you rightly said, and people can say then and there, "अरे ये खरीद ये बहुत अच्छा है. Why don't you buy this school, which is located in Dehradun? It's got these are the details of this school. You know, this is how they are." This is how they're structured and this is what they're doing. These are the number of students, etc. Oh, okay. Student hostel है क्या उधर? हाँ, वो भी है, वो भी खरीद सकते हो. So I'm saying that is the kind of conversation that it will, enable people to have.
This could be over a dinner date or a lunch break.
Possibility of what this can do is huge.
Wow.
We just need to figure out how we can get more people to invest, how we can get good quality assets to invest, get people to invest in. So fundamentally, the idea should be that opportunities exist in real estate. I think real estate, if you include infrastructure, is the biggest employer in our country. Mm-hmm. And how all people from all walks of life who are interested in real estate can come, participate on all DRX, and in the process get good advice, in the process make right investments, and most importantly, investments which are secure. So the whole idea is that make secure investments. We don't want people to say, you will make a killing, you will make, tomorrow you're going to become a rich man. No, we don't want people to say that. We want people to know that this is a secure way of investing. As secure maybe as an FD, but I can't quote such things, but yes.
This is amazing. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I've learned so much about, real estate and how people are looking at it and how we should be looking at it and how the youth are crafting a different story for themselves. They should all be thinking alt, right?
Yes. I believe they should be thinking how they can make their money work when they're sleeping.
Yeah.
Many of them work very hard. So make your money work when you're sleeping. Let alt do the hard work for you. Let alt DRX be the platform on which your money is working hard for you. Round the clock, across the country. Don't have to think twice before you come and put that 5,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees. Just have to come and make the investment at the right time. So be it the youth, be it the older people. But most importantly, make the investment process in real estate simple, secure, and give them the right kind of advice. So that's where we are today. We've had a great journey so far. It's been about a year or so. We will be launching and putting forth number of good products out there. So look forward to many more chats like this, Willie. Nice of you to have us on your platform, and very nice. You got a very vibrant voice. So it's resonating in this podcast. So look forward to having many more such conversations.
Thank you, Avinash.